I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. This is the WNW, the weekly news wrap up for Friday, July 3rd, 2020. The WNW 438. Remember Planned Parenthood a few years back, caught on camera by the folks at the Center for Medical Progress. I think David Dalian, exactly how he pronounced his name. He caught these guys on camera selling baby body parts. And of course, they denied it all and said the videos were heavily edited. Well, it's been back and forth. They've been trying to get this guy thrown in jail and ruin this guy, Planned Parenthood. And finally, in sworn video testimony, finally the truth comes out. This is my lead, and very few people covered it. It came out this week. Video testimony, depositions came out this week. They were unsealed. And this is sworn video testimony describes infanticide and fetal organ harvesting in Planned Parenthood clinics. And mind you, this is hundreds of thousands of babies a year. Okay, this is hundreds of thousands of babies aborted a year. But it goes on. Under oath, a procurement manager testifies fetuses just fall out. Hearts beating when harvested. Hearts beating when harvested. They cut a beating heart out of an infant. They admitted to it. Planned Parenthood execs admit infants born alive and left to die in clinics, depending on the availability of interventions. This is outrageous. Remember Cecile Richards? She was testifying in front of Congress. Oh, they heavily edited the video. Oh, they heavily edited to make it sound like something it wasn't. Really? If I'd have been in Congress, I'd have said, Miss Richards, you are under oath. You better have examples of heavily edited video to change what these people were saying. You better have this example. Otherwise, you are lying under oath. And I think they ought to charge her for lying under oath in Congress. Cecile Richards, former head of Planned Parenthood. She quit in January of 2018 after all this broke. But they lied, and they lied some more. And here is Center for Medical Progress project lead David Dalian asked how long public authorities permit Planned Parenthood and their associates to sell living children inside and outside the womb and then kill them through organ harvesting. DOJ has vigorously prosecuted the sale of eagle body parts, surely selling human body parts after cutting them out of an infant with a beating heart is at least as grave a crime. This is Planned Parenthood. This is the sickos at Planned Parenthood. There's all kinds of people in Congress wanting to defund these people. These people should be not only defunded, they should be investigated. And anybody who is engaged in this activity, they had to admit to it under oath. Otherwise, they'd be committing perjury. They had to admit to this stuff. This is awful. And I still think the former director of Planned Parenthood, Cecile Richards, I think she committed perjury. Unbelievable. Quite unbelievable. This is the world we live in. This is the world where right is wrong and wrong is right, and people can lie. And this is the media that protects Planned Parenthood. They wouldn't cover this. The mainstream legacy media. They cover this outrageous. If they were murdering black people or minorities with beating hearts, with nobody should do. We could all agree on that. If they were doing that, it'd be all over the news. But tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of babies a year, 40% which are black babies. That are aborted are black. Those black lives don't matter. And we live in a world where if you say all lives matter, somebody else just got canned for saying Black Lives Matter, sure, but all lives really matter. Oh, they fired them. This is outrageous. We are living in the biggest psyop propaganda a scam in the history of our nation, and it all has to do with wanting to take America down. We had a couple of Republican senators wanting to, rename Columbus Day to Juneteenth. I mean, they're stupid. You think that these people are tearing down statues and they're having these violent approaches where they're burning out the core of these liberal cities because they want a holiday? These people are stupid. They want to destroy America. Christopher Columbus is the statue and the thing they want to get rid of because he discovered America. And then we have this massive deal, but by our own people, that in our own tax-supported institutions like the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, fraud uncovered, CDC grossly overcounting active China coronavirus cases, causing states to keep their economies closed indefinitely or force a vote, cheat by mail for the November election. I mean, this is their plan. Their plan is to make things as bad as possible for you. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, whether you have a business, whether you have a job, whether you default on your loans, whether you starve, they don't care. Their plan is to make things as bad as possible. And that bubbled out with the Einstein wit of Ocasio-Cortez, OAC, or AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And this is her tweet that was up for about 20,000 folks that viewed it. But here, look at her tweet this is why she took it down. I'm sure she got taken to the woodshed on this. It's vital with governors that governors maintain restrictions on business until after the November elections because economic recovery will help Trump be reelected. A few business closures or job losses is a small price to pay to be free from his presidency. We've only had 44 million people file for unemployment. The only reason why we don't have massive defaults in just about everything is because of all this money printing and all these programs and bond buying and the Fed and the Congress printing massive amounts of money. There would be a downside to that's later, but this is outrageous. And the mainstream media and even our own court system, I mean, Judge Sullivan, who was hearing the General Flynn case, wouldn't dismiss the case. It finally had to go to, a higher court, which they told him to dismiss it. And I think, as I sit here right now, I don't think he's officially dismissed the Flynn case where they made up evidence and wanted to put him in jail and wanted to go after him. And here we find out General Flynn was targeted because he knew about billions John Brennan, former CIA, and company were running off the books. This is according to Flynn's lawyer, Sidney Powell. Powell said Flynn was going to audit the intel agencies. Remember that? I talked about that because he knew about the billions of dollars former CIA Director John Brennan was running off the books. They were robbing the country. And I got a short email from Catherine Austin Fitts that had the link to the story and said, I wonder if this is a part of the missing money story. The 21 trillion by Dr. Mark Skidmore that was discovered by him using Office of Inspector General reports from DOD and HUD. He's an expert in public budgets and professor of economics at Michigan State University. He's a real guy. And then also you said they're churning a 90 trillion or so, around 90 trillion in the treasury market, and just how much money do we have out there? Who knows? The only thing keeping the hyperinflation from coming is this massive amount of unemployment, a massive amount of capital destruction, businesses going out of business, capital being destroyed. That's the only reason why we don't have, bigger inflation. Here we go again. Jeffrey Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell arrested on sex charges. Maxwell will face charges that she conspired with the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse underage girls. Bill Clinton reportedly dated her, and she is supposedly going to the same prison where Jeffrey Epstein killed himself on the second attempt. And this is just, I have a few notes here about William Barr. Listen, if she dies in this prison, if she dies anywhere, Barr should immediately right now be handing her over to the U.S. Marshal Service. Witness protection. William Barr has these people at his fingertips. If he does put her back in that jail, she should be under surveillance 24/7 with physical guards, people at the Marshal Service outside her prison cell. And another funny thing about this, that Audrey Strauss is now the acting U.S. attorney from the Southern District of New York. That's a premier job, right? And this guy, Jeffrey Berman, was fired from as the attorney for the Southern District of New York. Now, was there something more there? Was he fired, and then not more than a week or so later that we have this Audrey Strauss as acting attorney, and then brings this case with Ghislaine Maxwell? Ghislaine Maxwell. Is there something more there? Barr also revealed on Ted Cruz's radio show, just to give you a little Barr news, that he's been using the 35 different anti-terror units around the country. This is a quote from him, to go after these Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all these people, this violent stuff. They call themselves, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter says they are trained Marxists. They also, if you read the blacklivesmatter.com website and you go down to, what we stand for or what we're about, go down in the middle of the page, they don't want daddy in the home. They don't want a mommy and daddy. They want a trans family. They don't want traditional families. They want to drive the daddy out of the house. This is outrageous. And, Barr has been saying that they've been using and arresting these violent members that have been, going around the country and blowing things up. The CHOP thing. I wonder if you had somebody at this CHOP thing in Seattle, the autonomous zone, that, where a couple of people were shot to death and there were rapes and murders and theft and extortions and all kinds of stuff. And this supposedly summer of love is what the mainstream media and the mayor was talking about. She had her $7 million home threatened, and that was the end of that. The other thing that's coming is the lawsuits. This CHOP zone had 8,000 people in it. Can you imagine what is going to happen with these people who did not get police protection they paid for in their tax system? I bet you the tax base in that area and anywhere in Seattle is pretty high. And can you imagine what's going to happen to commercial real estate insurance rates, if you can even get it, or your homeowner rates, if you can even get it? Can you imagine in these liberal cities where the insurance companies are going to go, whoa, you mean you're not going to protect property? Oh, well, then we're not going to insure property. Or if we do insure, it's going to cost you a ton of money. That's coming, folks. Along with the tax increases to cover all the damages and everything else. Like this idiot police chief in Raleigh who came out and said, we could get more buildings. We're not going to have, our police aren't going to protect property, you idiot. Unbelievable. So you just want to pick and choose what policing you'd like to do, and you make sure you get medical benefits and retirement and good pay and good equipment and all that. And just whenever you do, listen, most police probably think this police chief's an idiot. And listen, you police out there, don't quit your jobs. The jobs aren't there. Please, I know we had good job news. I'll talk about this later. Don't quit your jobs. And that's another psyop that makes police think that the overwhelming majority of people hate them. The overwhelming majority do not hate the cops. The overwhelming majority of people, and this includes minorities, do not hate the cops. They just, took away money from in New York City. You know who opposed taking away money from police in New York City? Minority Asian communities, minority black communities, minority Hispanic communities. They opposed it. People don't hate the cops. Please, this is yet another one of many psyops that's going on. But they finally dismantled this CHOP zone, and there were people arrested, and this is what you're going to see if Joe Biden is elected president, which I don't think he is going to be elected president, because I think many Democrats are going to jump ship on that. They have artificial intelligence and listens to everything I say and writes it down and makes decisions on that. So you can't ever criticize these people, and you couldn't say this right here. Oh, no. But I wanted to give you some China news. And that is, and I got some pretty amazing China news, and the best thing is last. There's just a few things here. Let me just tell you and what my take is on that. You have a House unanimously passes China sanctions bill in response to Hong Kong. We have people in Hong Kong, young people, fighting for freedom, fighting for liberty and a Bill of Rights and freedom. And then we have these idiots that are going around the U.S. who are Marxist, Antifa, and Black Lives Matter, wanting communism. And listen, the majority of Americans, the overwhelming majority of Americans, don't want communism. But yet they passed this bill. This is unbelievable. They got both sides of Congress to actually agree on something, a sanctions bill in Hong Kong. And listen, this means the trade deal is dead. We are amping up an economic war with China like you've never seen before. And if that right here isn't doing it, okay, then you have the FCC blocks Huawei and ZTE. Huawei is the big deal, but blocks them from American markets. This is going to cost them tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, they did not block Huawei from, the UK. I mean, their prime minister over there, those people are agreeing with it, and that's going to cause even problems because it's, why Huawei? Because it is a arm of the Chinese military. There are many companies doing business like Huawei which are really an arm of the Chinese military. There are no independent companies independent of the CCP. There aren't. I'm sorry, that just doesn't happen. You know, I can't have, and I can't have, I can't have China Watchdog. I can't open up a franchise from ChinaWatchdog.com and criticize Xi Jinping and the Communist Party of China. I can't do that. I would do it for maybe an hour. And so, that's another huge thing, where FCC blocks Huawei and ZTE from lucrative content. And then this is outrageous. This is a real story. China caught smuggling 10,800 assault weapons parts into Louisville by U.S. Customs. Unbelievable. They brought in assault weapons parts, I guess to manufacture or make fully automatic AK-47s. I don't know. I mean, this is just outrageous. I know that Black Lives Matter has talked about having one of their leaders mobilizing a highly trained military arm of Black Lives Matter. This is what we're talking about here, folks. And this is part of the puzzle. And this is why I say this. They're doing this at this time. These people are not our friends. So that's the other thing. And here's the other thing. Listen, Mark Taylor said a long time ago that China was going to be put in its place. And listen, I don't believe anything out of China because they don't really have any. They have a worse propaganda media we do. At least some of the stuff we get from media is real. Some of the numbers, some of the things, but China's in big trouble. And listen, I've talked to you about this, and I've had guests on many times about what happens when gold is going to take off when there's a failure to deliver the actual metal. We live in a world where the paper contracts are everything until they're not. And when the paper contracts are no longer any good and nobody wants them and people want the actual physical metal, silver and gold, that's when the metal will hit the rubber will hit the road. And here we have a story breaking out. This has profound negative consequences for not only just China, but the world. 83 tons of fake gold bars, gold market rocked by massive China counterfeiting scandal. 83 tons of purportedly pure gold stored in creditors' coffers by King Gold as of June, backing 16 billion yuan, that's a few billion dollars, in loans would be equivalent to 22% of China's annual gold production. At 22% of China's annual gold production, these bars equal, that are fake. China's annual gold production and a 4.2 of the state gold reserve as of 2019. It goes on. This is where it gets good. This is Zero Hedge story, and the Zero Hedge says, in short, more than 4% of China's official gold reserves may be fake. Zero Hedge asks the question, what can go wrong? And they say, a panic scramble to procure physical gold, one which even our friends at the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, will be powerless to stop from sending the price of precious metal to all-time highs. We're talking about gold. And if gold goes to all-time highs, people are going to go, oh, I can't get it. What can I get? Wait. Silver. I can get silver is what? $18? $17? Oh my gosh, buy all you can. I mean, listen, the Fed is not expecting any kind of, and business people are not expecting any kind of real inflation. And Martin Armstrong laid it out so clearly. We have, the Fed balance sheet doubling to over $7 trillion, probably heading to 10 or 11 or 12 trillion dollars. I mean, it's going to go higher. But you have, capital destruction, businesses going out of business, restaurants not paying their leases, people not paying their bills. Now that's been softened by all these facilities at the Federal Reserve and all these bills and all these stimulus bills and the Paycheck Protection, plan, where people got an extra $600 plus $1,200 for stimulus and blah blah blah. So things have been shielded or lessened, deadened for now. And we did have a big number, and I know Donald Trump has been out pushing it, and it's a fantastic number, and that is 4.8 million new jobs were produced as we get back to work. Of course, the evil Democrat communists Marxist that is now the Democrat Party. They can't have that. That's why they want to keep all the closures going in this political pandemic virus football going to make sure the economy grinds to a halt. And they don't care if you live in a box or a tent or lose your house or lose your car or lose your family or lose everything. They don't care as long as they win. This is what they have for us. The Democrats. The other thing they have for us is to defund the police. I mean, I heard Ted Cruz on the other day. If I told you a month ago that one of the Democrat platforms is going to be defund the police, and actually I mean defund them, like do away with them. You'd say, oh, come on, that's crazy. But yet that's part of their platform. I don't see how there's not a significant amount of Democrats that are going to say, oh, boy, this is a bridge too far. I know black Americans, about 40% are going to vote for Trump. And and Trump's not really a Republican. He's really not a Republican. But let me just show you a few charts here. So the good news is we got 4.8 million jobs. The bad news is about half the people are not working. So here we have half the U.S. population does not have a job. This is a chart. This is from a guy, the Torsten Schlock, PhD, is at Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank stock is up, so he's leaving. And it's up to 950 or so. And he's an economist at DP. He's famous for all of his charts. His name is Torsten Schlock. He's a PhD economist. And so this is just a few of his things I got off Zero Hedge. So look at this. I just want to show you things in a big picture on the economy that just show you how devastating this all was. Okay, so here we are in the big takedown in the 2008 2009, and where boop, 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 Trump gets elected. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, and then here's what happens with jobs. Bam. So even though we gained 4.8 million jobs, we still had 1.4 million file for unemployment. So we still had people filing for unemployment. This is the 15th week of a million, but this is what it looks like. This is how bad it is, folks. Our unemployment went to this, boom, and fell through the floor. About half the people, a little more than half the people, half the working age people have jobs. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable hit. And John Williams, remember he was talking about that GDP was going to take a 50% hit. And sure enough, this is Schlock's chart. And here we have GDP going great. And here's a little blip in the 2008-2009 Great Recession, right? Here is what the GDP looks like now. I mean, folks, this idea that we're going to be back up here in a matter of a few months is crazy. I'm not trying to give you bad news. I'm trying to put a proper spin on it so you understand how bad this is. This is why I'm telling you, police officers out there, number one, the majority of people love the cops and don't want them defunded. Hang in there. Don't quit your job. Unless you're going to get a pension. Unless you're going to get your money. But hang in there. Please don't quit your job. The GDP has crashed. It's not going to come back up for a long time. If you got a job, you keep your job. And besides that, we need the police being police. Okay? Here's another just quick little chart. This guy had probably 40 charts, but I just picked a few just to show you what's going on. This is households scaling back on spending on vacations, and not just vacations. I mean, folks, electronics, home furnishings, vacations, house or apartment, home or appliances, vehicle, every single one of these lines that represents vehicles and vacations and appliances, everyone is going down with the exception, well, this one's kind of flatlining. Which is a house or apartment, living, place to live. But even that's not going up, folks. Folks, this is what the economy looks like on a chart. All the stuff you buy is all trending down. Savings rates, the good news about all this is savings rates are way up. Here's another chart about airline traffic. I mean, the airline industry is a huge part of the economy. Travel, hospitality, all this stuff is a huge part of the economy. Now, the blue lines is what it was in 2019. That was travel in 2019. The red lines is 2020 and what happened since the pandemic. Oh my! I mean, we're only at 13% of traffic compared to what we were before. I mean, this is an unbelievable hit in an industry that you can't keep funneling money to. I mean, they're going to have layoffs. They're going to be semi-permanent layoffs. It's going to take a while to get back to where we were, but just to show you that this is an industry devastated. If you look at it on a chart, this is where it was. This was kind of pacing about the way it was before, right here, okay, back in, March of 2020. And this is, the blue lines are March of 2019. And then, bam, that's what it looks like now all the way out to May 25th. That's where the chart ends. Is it uptrending? Yes. Are we going to come back? Yes. Is Donald Trump the guy to bring the economy back faster than anybody else? Yes. Is freedom and liberty the right path to go? Yes. If we get Marxism, communism, there's no bottom. There's no bottom, folks. That's why this whole thing with Biden, he's doing better than Trump in the swing states. Yet another piece of propaganda. Remember I told you about the polls with Hillary Clinton? I said Hillary Clinton won't be president. I mean, she's better than Biden. She could talk. She could string some sentences together. She could fight back. Biden, please stop. I don't understand how Biden is going to agree to these. He says he's already agreed. He's already said he's agreed to debates. Don't see how he's going to be able to pull that off. It's like the cartoon I had with ABC, NBC, CBS, the Washington Post, New York Times, all pushing Biden up, like the flag on Iwo Jima, all supporting him. But I don't see how. I don't see how the polls are even real. It's a joke. It's a laugh. And this is why they want the economy. They don't have a strong candidate. Their plan for us is defund the police, raise your taxes, destroy your businesses, make you dependent on government. And go the China model and do away with America and the Constitution. And why do they want to do away with America? Because we're a God-fearing country. We're what's standing in the way of the New World Order. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, liberty. Just all of our way of life is opposite for communism in China. Look what's going on in Hong Kong. It's awful. Hong Kong's over. And then we have this, and I thought this was very interesting. It was delinquency rates, and here we have the delinquency rates went skyrocketed during the 08, 09, it was afterward at 9 and 10. So it skyrockets, peaks about between 9 and 10, around there. This is for delinquency rates for automobiles and credit cards. And yet when we get over here, which is a much worse problem, the 44 million, 45 million that's applied for unemployment, it hasn't really gone up as bad. It hasn't peaked like this. That's all that paycheck protection plan, and they knew this was bad. That's why they came up with the extra $1,200 and the extra $600 in the unemployment on top of unemployment. I was out at a restaurant and I talked to one of the waitresses. Hey, where's Super Jill, one of the waitresses? And my wife and I were out, and he said, well, she's not taking that many hours. She's still getting the the extra $600 a month. Listen, that's going to all end at the same time for everybody. I mean, and the next stimulus package, and there's going to be one. There has to be. The next stimulus package, they're not going to have that extra money. I mean, people ought to be claiming their jobs now, right now, because all these jobs are not coming back. I've heard at least 20% of the jobs won't come back. 40% of the jobs won't come back. What Gerald Celente was on saying, according to Yelp, 53% of the restaurants will not reopen. And then of the ones that reopen with half the tables and all the masks and the COVID and all the cleaning procedures, can they make a profit? And what percentage of the ones that do open, can they make a profit? And what about the businesses that won't reopen? Something like 40-some-odd% of just businesses in general. And the commercial real estate defaults haven't been that great, but that's all this money sloshing around and being pumped out by Congress. And that's what I'm saying. This doesn't look as bad as it is because of all the money that's sloshing around, but at some point that money is going to stop. It's just going to stop. Here's one more just to show you how bad things are. And this is oil consumption. So here's the 08, 09, 10, and how it drops off. Then it works its way back up. And here's the COVID. Boom. And what is that? Going from about 22,000 barrels a day down to 14,000. I mean, it's cut in half. Gasoline consumption cut in half. This is not going to be over soon. We're not going to dust ourselves off and say, wow, in 3 months, we're right back to where we were, in January of 2020. That's not going to happen. It's a long slog. And then we have at least one party, the communist, Marxist Democrat Party. They want to see things as bad as they can. That's their new plan. Uh, make things as bad as they can to drive Trump out of office. I kid you not. That's the new plan. And their latest plan is to remove the police, which, I mean, I'm telling you, the taxes raising, the insurance companies, many of them are going to go, what, so you don't have any police? So we're out. So you have people that stop rioting and fires and things like that, or we're going to triple our homeowner rates or whatever. Can you imagine that? Don't you think Democrats have houses and pay homeowner insurance? Don't they drive cars? I mean, this is outrageous that this is their plan. And this is what they're telling us. I'm not making it up. It's what AOC, tweeted out. She got taken to the woodshed about talking, keep it closed down for just a little while. This is from a little while longer. This is from a woman with a government paycheck. She thinks there's a free button on everybody's desk. It's ridiculous. They're not here to make your life better. They're here to gain power. And the stupid Republican rhinos are going to be helping them along. This is why you see Donald Trump. I'll tell you one thing: he's exposed the swamp. He's exposed both the Marxist, communist Democrats and the rhino Republicans that are the same Marxist, communist, New World Order globalist people. And here we have, this is outrageous, hundreds of former George W. Bush staffers launch a pro-Biden super PAC. Now let's stop it. Just let that sink in. So they're going to they backed Hillary Clinton with the global charity fraud, okay, who let these people die, in Benghazi. And they knew about it. They lied about it. That's how Tom Fitton's out with that. And he did a Freedom of Information Act. And all that came out, how they were lying about about a terrorist attack they could have stopped. And 4 Americans died. And so now Biden, who is up to his son, is up to his neck in Biden selling his job, according to what's his name, Rudy Giuliani, and also him getting $1.5 billion. His company, Hunter Biden, in China. That's who these guys are going to back. They're going to back him. And also the new group of 43 alumni of Biden announced their formation Wednesday, saying their purpose is to unite and mobilize a community historically of Republican voters who are dismayed and disappointed by the damage done to our nation. Never mind all the bribes from China and all the kickback schemes from Ukraine and all that. Never mind that. That's the person that we want to get behind. Hold on, I just got to get one thing here that I didn't cover. Hold on. Oh, just bear with me. I'm not going to start over again. I'm already, 32 minutes in. But I wanted to bring up one more thing. And it's about somebody that who do you have on? It was Rudy Giuliani had it on his channel. He's talking about HCQ, hydroxychloroquine, and a doctor talking about how well it works. Here we go. Rudy Giuliani had this doctor on, and just had him on. His name is Zev Zelenko. He's treated 2,200 patients. Two died. He has a 99.7 cure rate if it's caught in the first 5 days, and you have a cocktail of the zinc, hydroxychloroquine, which has been around for 65 years, and a Z-Pak, azithromycin. And he says, the zinc kills the COVID-19. He says the HCQ is the gun, and the azithromycin cleans up anything that could go wrong and any other infection that could happen. 2,200 patients, and this is according to Rudy Giuliani, who had him on as a guest, Dr. Zev Zelenko, and he has only 2 deaths, a 99.7 cure rate for hydroxychloroquine, and yet another a psyop propaganda telling you that hydroxychloroquine, a 65-year-old drug that's got a great record of safety, is now dangerous. And doctors, bona fide medical doctors that are actually treating and curing people, and this is outpatient, that's 2,200 cured people and only 2 deaths. And he says, first 5 days of symptoms, take hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and azithromycin, a Z-Pack, the main ingredient in the Z-Pack. So I just wanted to leave you with that, listen, the press, the mainstream media doesn't care if you're bankrupted. They don't care if you lose your family. They don't care if you lose your life. They don't care if you give you disinformation, bad information, and you die from not saying, hey, I want hydroxychloroquine and zinc and a Z-Pack. They don't care. They want to win. And they want you all tagged and bagged and under their control. This is the Marxist way. So folks, all I can say is just remember this. And also remember that you're going to be tested. Bad things are going to happen. That's all there's to it. And please don't say things like, I don't know why Jesus would let this happen. Don't let your faith be shaken. Jesus predicted that bad things would happen. It would be as in the days of Noah. We really don't know what the days of Noah were like. But folks, they were so bad. And Noah's Ark is real. And it was so bad that God the Father got so angry, he just wiped out life on earth, except for the 8 people he stuck on Noah's Ark and the animals that Noah gathered. And, Noah took 120 some odd years, I think about 120 years to build the ark. And it never rained from the sky before, but yet on one day it did. And it kept raining for months. And so, things are going to get bad. Don't lose your faith is what I'm saying. No matter how bad things go and no matter what happens, keep your faith, keep praying. And this is why I'm saying to prepare. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, and above all spiritually, because God the Father, His Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit are all firmly in control. Thank you for supporting USA Watchdog with your comments and your donations. That helps us out. I'm Greg Hunter. Thanks for supporting USA Watchdog, and keep Jesus in your prayers. Thank you.